40 drivers come into each Cup Series season, battling to make the playoffs across the first 26 races of the season. Now we've done 9 more in the playoffs. We're one of the lucky ones to be battling it out for a championship here in the Final Four, along 3 other drivers going into Homestead Miami Speedway. We're going to see if we can pull off a championship run today. Hopefully we can do it. Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video here for NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to Homestead, Miami, like I just said, to decide a champion. We're in the Final Four for the first time in our career alongside Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch. So we got some stiff competition. They've been much better than me throughout the whole season. So it's going to be very tough and hopefully we can maybe pull off a championship here. We probably won't be a championship caliber team going into this race, but we're going to give it all we have and hopefully we can come out of here with a championship. I won't be disappointed if we don't, but first we got to show the Xfinity Series race. Derek Kraus, he got eliminated in the last round of the playoffs. He had a very poor start in this event. He started in about the 31st position. He had a bad qualifying lap, which is why he was down there. He made a mistake, but he would be able to work his way up through the field relatively easily as he came through up there into the top 30 now as he came through turns 3 and 4, and he would continue to work his way forwards. By the time he came close to about the midway point of this race, he'd worked his way into the top 15, actually trying to get himself into the top 10 at this point, battling alongside the number 98 of Kevin Harvick, who's going to be battling for a Cup Series championship in just a few moments now, as Kraus would pull ahead of him for a moment, and he would actually get onto the apron there. You see, and he got pretty loose from it, but thankfully he would hang on to the car, and by the time he came to the final lap, he would be in the top 10 still, battling Ryan Preece for the 9th position. As he went down into turn 3, he would be able to get ahead of Preece and take the position away as he would try to get to the inside of Kaz Grala as he came out of turn 4, going down the front straightaway. In the final race of the Xfinity Series season, Derek Kraus would finish in the top 10 in the 9th position for us. So nothing to be disappointed about. We had a rough Xfinity season, 2 wins. Certainly not the best. Obviously, we had a lot of part-time drivers. We might be doing that again next season, and hopefully we can have a little bit better of a run next season, though. But now it's time to shift focus to the main event here, the Cup Series race here in Homestead, Miami. Obviously, our first chance at a championship. We've been eliminated twice in the round of 8 at ISM Raceway in our first 2 seasons, but this time we made it through. It was close. We had some run-ins with Martin Truex Jr., and NASCAR came and announced after ISM Raceway that myself and Martin Truex Jr. are both on probation coming into this final race of the season, so we got to give each other room, and we're going to certainly give Truex room, but is he going to give me the room? I don't know. We're going to find out in this championship race. Certainly would be a very bad race if we had a run-in with Martin Truex Jr., so we're going to do our best to make sure that we give him the room that he needs coming into this championship event. We came into qualifying doing pretty good. We made it to the 3rd and final session in qualifying as we come through turns 3 and 4. We're sitting at a 30.839. Only a few cars had gone at this point. We would come across the line to not even improve, so we were stuck with a 30.839. We would call it there, and we will start the championship race in the 7th position here in Homestead, Miami. So let's go and fight it out for our first championship.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway for the running of the Ford EcoBoost 400. Tonight, NASCAR will crown the next Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion. Over 40 drivers started the season with high hopes and big dreams. But after a grueling regular season and a roller coaster ride through the playoffs, only 4 of them can still cling to that dream. For the Championship 4, it all comes down to one race. 400 miles from glory. 400 miles from a date with destiny. The wait is finally over. NASCAR's championship race is coming up next.
Alright, we are ready to go green and decide a championship here in Homestead, Miami. Big news going into this race, a Final Four contender. Joey Logano had an engine change after qualifying. He will be starting in the back now as we get ready to go green here in Homestead, Miami. This could be our last race in the 41 car. Our future is undetermined at the moment now as we're ready to go green here in Miami. And the green flag is out and our fight for our first championship is on now as we head down towards turns 1 from the 6th starting position behind our rival of Martin Truex Jr. Only fitting, we're probably going to get hit by him once at least throughout this race now as we come through turns 1 and 2. Immediately clear between myself and the Kurt Busch, so I get down to the bottom trying to make it 3 wide with Blaney and Truex as we come down the back straightaway, trying to gain whatever positions I can early on. On the restarts, it's really easy to gain positions at this track if you run the bottom now. So if we get shuffled to the back from a pit stop, we can easily get ourselves back up towards the top 10 as we slide up in front of the 12 of Blaney's, and we make contact early with the 9 of Chase Elliott as our rival Truex is going to get through and pass me as we drop down to the 5th position as we head down towards turns 1 after completing the first lap in this championship race. Early on, a Final Four contender, Kevin Harvick, our teammate, takes the lead from Brad Keselowski as we look to the inside of Keselowski, making contact with him. He did win the championship last season, the 2 of Keselowski did, so he's now a 2-time champion as Harvick tries to win his second championship. We try to win championship number 1. Kyle Busch goes for championship number 2, and Joey Logano goes for championship number 1, because when we started this career mode, Joey Logano hadn't won the championship in real life at the time, so we're still saying that Joey Logano has yet to win a Cup Series championship. Right now as we come through turns 1 and 2, up close to that wall, we're going to be up there quite a bit in this race. Obviously, I'm really comfortable up towards the top, so obviously we're going to take advantage of that. And by the time we came to lap 5, we had been about the same gap between myself and Kevin Harvick. Hadn't been really able to get to the back of him, so it was certainly just looking like we might be a second place car early on in this first stage. And you'd see Truex would get to my inside, and we would just move over and say, you can have the position. I back off a little bit and let him clear me, because we're not going to get into a fight with Martin Truex Jr. here in the championship race when we're fighting for a championship now. So we would leave the spot to him, and we didn't have a lot of speed in this first stage because Keselowski would look to my inside on lap 9 of 19 in the first stage. He would get down to the inside of me through the corners. We battle side by side as we come through turns 1 and turns 2. We would put up a little bit of a fight against him, trying to hold on to the position, but I just didn't quite have the speed to battle with him as he came into turns 3. Truex had taken the lead from Harvick at this point. Keselowski would slide up to take the 3rd position away from me. So right now it looks like we are the 2nd fastest car within the Final Four. I'm not sure how much speed Joey Logano had at this point. Obviously, him starting in the back, he's got a long road to recovery if he wants to have a championship win here as we get into the wall just a little bit now as we go into turn 1. But thankfully we keep out of it, but that allows the 14 of Clint Bowyer, our teammate, to get a bunch of momentum on me now as we come down the back straightaway. Our first mistake of the race, and he's certainly, the cars behind us, Bowyer and Elliott, are going to capitalize on it now as we go down into turns 3. Bowyer looks to my inside as you come through the corner. You got to be really careful when the AI are on your inside going into a turn here, because they like to run up towards the wall just like myself. So we got to be careful that they don't slam into me and put me in the wall and give me damage now as we go down into turns 1 and 2. Still side by side with our teammate Bowyer, just about making contact there as we come through the corner. He is going to continue to battle on my inside, and we just couldn't quite keep the pace with Bowyer and Elliott now as we came down the back straightaway. As we went down into turn 3, Clint Bowyer would finally be able to get into the corner and take the position away from me. So we would lose P4 and drop to P5. We would try to look back to the inside of Bowyer, but unable to make it happen now as we came down the front straightaway. And by the time we came to lap 14 and we went down into turn 3, Chase Elliott, he would have a lot of speed as well. We were still running right behind our teammate Bowyer, but we kind of get stuck behind Bowyer. There's get loose through the corner, and Elliott would be able to get past me. So thankfully we hang on to the car, but with a little bit of a moment there. And by the time we came to lap 15 out of turn 2, these two still battling just up ahead as we come down the back straightaway, and we have trouble behind. And it's the 13 of Ty Dillon who goes hard into the wall, and Joey Logano, a Final Four driver, is involved now as he takes some damage from the back of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car, and he did get into the wall, and that would bring out a caution early on in this race and set up for a late race, or a late stage restart here in Homestead.
Are you ready now?
The main goal for this final few laps in this stage is just to come out of here without damage now, as we're green and 2 laps remain in stage 1. Truex, Harvick side by side as they go down towards turns 1. The outside gets a better launch than the inside line as Harvick tries to take the lead now as we come to the center of the corner. The inside line led by Martin Truex Jr. bounces back though now as we come out of turn 2, side by side with our Stewart Haas Racing teammate of Clint Bowyer now as we come down the back straightaway, heading down towards turn 3, just getting into the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott a little bit, trying to play it a little bit cautious now at the end of the stage. Obviously, we got 2 stages to go. Why do I need to do anything silly now as we come out of turn 4, coming down the front straightaway, still side by side with the 14 of Bowyer, but we do edge ahead of him as we take a white flag now in the first stage, closing in on the back of our teammate of Kevin Harvick as Chase Elliott, he wants to slide out just in front of me there as he had just enough room to get up in front of me now, and as he goes down to the bottom of the track as we exit turn 2, Bowyer once again looks to my inside as we come down the back straightaway for the final time here in this first stage. All the Stewart Haas cars up here in the top 10 now as we go into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in stage 1. Truex leads. He obviously got eliminated last episode, so it doesn't matter for him as we come down the front straightaway. We're going to come through in the first stage to edge out Clint Boyer for 5th, as Harvick gets 4th as the best running Final Four driver at the end of the first stage. Kyle Busch in 8th, and Joey Logano, he is still up in the 18th position, and he's actually going to stay out here going into the second stage, as many drivers would actually stay out as we would come to pit road. We were going to take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires, and a bunch of drivers decided, like I said, to stay out at the end of the stage, including Joey Logano, and Logano will actually lead the way here for the second stage. So an interesting strategy call from the Final Four driver, and it could pay off big time now as we're ready to go green, and stage 2 is underway here in Homestead, Miami. We might have a good chance to get maybe a stage win, or maybe second or third in the stage, because we know how much AI struggle to get through these slow cars, that especially a track like this one, the AI like to run the top now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2 side by side still with our teammate of Clint Boyer. We've been side by side with him quite a bit throughout this event so far now as we come down the back straightaway. Kyle Busch, another Final Four driver, right behind me there, side by side with our teammate of Eric Almirola as we go down into turn 3. I was a little bit cautious on this restart because I was really too nervous to do something stupid and completely destroy my championship chances. So you certainly see me on these restarts maybe a little bit more cautious early on in this race. Later in the race, it will be completely a different story as Joey Logano leads the way as we come through turns 1 and 2. And we make that inside work through turns 1 and 2 now as we come out of the corner side by side with our rival of Martin Truex Jr. now as we come down the back straightaway 3 wide with him and Matt DiBenedetto as we go down into turn 3. Logano continues the lead as he starts to stretch out the gap between himself and second place. Obviously, he has a bunch of slower cars behind him, and we're taking advantage of all these slow cars because we would be able to work our way through easily and pass all of these slow cars, as we would actually be able to easily work our way up through the field here. And now inside the top 10 already as we get to the left rear here of Landon Castle, and we would be able to drive all the way up into the second position within just a few laps. So we would get up to P2 as we would try to run down Joey Logano here on lap 5. A good gap between himself and I now, but we would end up getting a caution here in the second stage, second caution of the day, and me and Joey Logano would be on the front row. Kevin Harvick, another Final Four driver, obviously had to work his way into the 8th position, so he is slowly working his way through these slow cars as we're ready to go green again, and the green flag is out, and it's just 9 laps to go now in stage 2 as we cross the line side by side with Joey Logano as we head down towards turns 1. Obviously, Joey looking for his first championship. Like we said at the time we started this career mode, he hadn't won in real life, so we don't count it as a championship for him, as we did have a bit of an audio cutout there due to a controller dying as usual. I need to do a better job of keeping my controller on the side as I race on my wheel in the future, so hopefully we won't have that problem now as we go down in turn 3. Though you see these 2 black cars of Sorensen and Chastain would be able to get ahead of me as the Watermelon Boy sits in the second position now as we come down the straightaway to complete the first lap. Since we start with just 8 to go, Logano, he would be able to drive away as we come through turns 1 and 2, getting onto the back of Chastain, and I decided, okay, we're going to try and take a chance here and get to the left rear, but we were unable to do so now as Chastain would be able to stay ahead as we come down the back straightaway. Reed Sorensen just barely looking to my inside as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4, and this time we would decide to make it 3 wide up the middle between Chastain and Sorensen. A big bold move would pay off as we would come through out of turn 4 to move into the second position past them both now as we come through to cross the line heading down towards turns 1, as Joey Logano at this point had driven away a good amount, so it's certainly going to be a little bit tough maybe to run him down. But we would be able to run Joey Logano down, and Kevin Harvick would pass the slow cars, and he would run me down by the time we came to just 2 laps to go in stage 2. Approaching the final lap in the stage, you see the gap between myself and Logano, but Harvick had looked to my inside as we came through turns 3 and turns 4. We weren't going to battle him too much because the third stage is a stage, obviously, that matters now as we hit the white flag in stage 2 as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Joey Logano was a part of an incident earlier in this race now as he leads the championship battle as we come down the back straightaway. 4 drivers in this championship battle, obviously 3 of them here in the top 3 now as you head down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in this second stage. Harvick closing in on Joey Logano as we come through turns 3 and 4, but Logano's going to be able to hold on as we drift backwards, and Logano will come through to win stage 2. Harvick second and myself in the third position as Kyle Busch, the other Final Four driver, not even inside the top 10 as he struggled a lot to get through all the traffic. He has 7 wins on on the season, but his championship run looks like it's going to take a hit here in Miami. We would come to pit road to take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires. We would actually lose a good bunch of positions, unfortunately. But I wasn't really concerned because we're restarting on the inside here in 21st. We could probably be in the top 10 within the first 2 laps of this restart as we're ready to start this final stage, and the green flag is out and we're ready to go green. We've had 2 cautions as well in the first 2 stages, so I was pretty confident that we could also get a caution here to close things up between myself and the top 2 runners of Harvick and Joey Logano now as we immediately get to that bottom line as we go down towards turns 1 and turns 2, already closing in on a top 15 position within the first half a lap now as we lose a lot of momentum. You lose a ton of momentum when you run the bottom here in the corners at Homestead now as we come down into turn 3. Joey Logano leading the way as Harvick tries to get ahead of David Reagan, it looks like, as he tries to take second as we would get just barely ahead of Keselowski as we go 3 wide with him, and I believe Truex now as we come through to cross the line as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2. I said let's go for a top 10 in the first 2 laps, and it looks like it's going to take just over a lap to get into the top 10 now here in this third and final stage as we're up to the 8th position, so very quickly moving our way through the field. Certainly exactly what we need to be doing, because if we don't get a caution, we could certainly be in trouble, but we have to work our way through the field as quickly as possible to minimize the kind of the work that we need to do to get towards Harvick and Logano. By the time we went down towards turns 1 and turns 2, we would make a big launch up the inside and be able to move from behind Blaney and Boyer all the way up into the 3rd position and set our sights on Harvick and Logano now as we came down the back straightaway ahead of those guys. And by the time we came to lap 47, Harvick would make a move to the inside of Logano and take over the lead in the championship battle here in Homestead, Miami, as he looks for championship number 2 as we try to run down these 2 drivers up ahead as they battle it out with 20 to go. And by the time we came to lap 51, the lap's running out, but we were closing in on the back of Joey Logano for that 2nd position at this point as we went down towards turns 3. Just running that top line as we go into the corner, not going too close to the wall at this point. I don't want to hit the wall, lose time, and get damaged now, so we were certainly being careful from being too close to the wall now. And by the time we came to lap 55, still about the same gap between myself and the leaders, running out of time here in Miami as we came down the back straightaway, heading down towards turns 3, approaching 11 laps to go in this race as we go down into turns 3. Now we would end up getting a caution, and this could change just about everything now as we would get ready to restart. And we have to be aggressive here because we certainly don't seem to have the fastest car in the championship battle right now. Kyle Busch down to 16th. His championship run is over as we get ready. 3 drivers here in the top 3 battling for a championship. We're going to have to be aggressive here because, like I said, we don't have the fastest car, and the green flag is out, and we are on our way for potentially the final time in the season as it's 9 laps to go. We're going to make it 3 wide with Harvick and Joey Logano as we head down towards turns 1. We want to win our first Cup Series championship in just our 3rd season now as we come through turns 1 and 2. We're going to slide up in front of the 4 of Harvick and take the lead, but he's going to cross me over now as we come down the back straightaway side by side with our teammate of Kevin Harvick for the championship battle now as we head down into turns 3 on the back bumper of Harvick as we try to run that inside as we send it up the inside of our teammate Kevin Harvick now through the center of the corner. And immediately I noticed that on the exit of the corner the car was starting to get a little bit loose, and I knew right away we were going to have to fight that for the final 8 laps in this race, but we weren't going to let a loose car come between myself and battling for a championship as we send it up the inside of Harvick again as we come through turns 1 and turns 2. He's just barely on my right rear now as we come down the back straightaway side by side trying to win our first championship. Harvick going for championship number 2 as we go into turn 3, still side by side on the inside of Harvick, but we're going to slide all the way up in front of him and take over the lead for a moment now as he's going to cross me over though as we come down the front straightaway as he looks to my inside as I couldn't quite get down to block him now as we come through side by side with 7 laps to go in this race. Bowman, he's going to get up in this battle. He's going to try and mess with the championship battle as he looks to my inside, and unfortunately I couldn't exit the corner like I needed to because of Bowman, and that would allow Harvick to at least pull away by about a car length as we come down the back straightaway now trying to stick with the 4. We're going to send it in real deep into turn 3 just to clear the 88 of Bowman to make sure that he gets out of this battle as we get sideways again. And me and Kevin Harvick would both pull away from the cars from behind, and by the time we came to just 3 laps to go in this race, you see about 2 or 3 car lengths between myself and Harvick as we go down towards turns 1, and I just continued to dive in on the bottom because if I ran the top, we wouldn't even be able to stick with the 4 of Harvick. So unfortunately, we don't have the speed that we need as we come down the back straightaway, just trying to stick with the 4 and hope that we can send it up the inside and get alongside Harvick as we approach just 2 laps to go in the season now as we try to win our first championship as we get loose again. again there through the center of the corner now, continuing to battle this loose car as we come out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. 2 laps remain in the championship battle. Truex and Almirola battle behind as they close in on me and Harvick as we go down towards turns 1 and 2, sending it up the inside again as we come through the center of the corner, getting to the left rear of the 4 of Harvick. But as we come through out of turn 2, he would be able to stay clear of me as we come down the back straightaway. 1 lap and a half to go in the championship battle as we head down towards turn 3. Harvick going a little bit defensive into the entrance of the corner, but we're going to still send it up the inside, getting loose again now as we come out of turn 4, and that would slow up our momentum and help Harvick as we come down the front straightaway. The final lap is out now in Homestead, Miami. Truex closing the gap between himself and I as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2 for the final time in Homestead, Miami, sending it up the inside, getting loose again as it slows up my momentum once again now as we come out of turn 2 down the back straightaway for the final time. A big gap between myself and Harvick. He pretty much has it won now as we go into turn 3. We're going to send it in as hard as we can for one final time into turn 3. We send it, but it's not going to be enough as we have to get out of the throttle just to make sure we don't knock the wall down. As we come out of turn 4, Kevin Harvick is going to win championship number 2 as Truex pushes me across the line, and we would finish in the second position in Homestead, Miami, and come up just short of a championship. And what you're seeing here is a replay of just how hard I sent it into turn 3 on the final lap, just trying everything I could to get to Harvick. I was hoping that I could at least get side by side with him and maybe just kind of shove him into the wall a little bit as we like scrub doors coming across the line. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be here this season as we come up just short of a championship. I mean, our first time in the Final Four, we're not going to win a championship. It took Joey Logano, I think, 3 tries in the Final Four to win his first championship. So a great season for myself, a breakout season. We won 4 races. We came up like 3 car lengths short of a championship. Unfortunate. I know you guys wanted me to win that championship. Obviously, I wanted to win that championship so bad, and we came up just short. Now we have to fight it out another season, but we know what we're doing now, and I think we can definitely contend for a championship again. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. And if I put a full custom setup in the car, I probably definitely could have won, but you know that I'm not about that now as we have some messages.
Congratulations. That was a great rookie season.
It wasn't a rookie season, but thank you.
Hey, you had a fantastic rookie season. I'm excited to see what you can do next year.
Thanks again, Austin Dillon. Obviously, they're saying rookie season because it's our first season on the 2019 DLC, but our third season in reality. But next season, I don't know where we're going. We could stay with the 41. Here's the guys' options. I want you guys to decide this. We could either stick with the 41 for one more season, we could go to the 20 car, or the 2 car. Give me your feedback. I would love to see what you guys want, and we'll choose a ride in the next episode between those 3 cars. I'm leaning a little bit towards staying with the 41, but yeah, like I said, you guys decide in the live chat, or in the, actually, I would really like if you put it in the comments section after the video as well, so then I can tally it up between the 20 car on JGR, the 2 on Penske, or we stick with the 41 on Stewart Haas Racing. So make sure to comment after the video just so I can tally it up to see which car you guys would like me to drive in the next season. But like I said, great season for us. Hopefully next season we can gain that 1 extra spot in the championship finale if we make it that far and win the championship in the Cup Series. But yeah, like once again, thank you all for sticking around to watch this season, and we've hit over 700 subscribers now. I'm very thankful for that, and I'd like to thank you all for being a part of this community, and hopefully I can bring you guys a championship home soon. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have yourselves a great day. I will see you guys in the next one for the Daytona 500.